Hi everyone. Just to say a big thank you for all signing up for this challenge. For some of you, it might have been a really hard thing to do, so I really do appreciate that. I don't know whether anybody is here. Oh, hello, Beth. I'm talking to myself at the moment. So we'll just hang on a few more minutes just to see whether anybody else joins us or not. Hello. Never done one of these before, so don't really know how they work. As I can see, you have joined in the conversation. Hi, Heidi. Welcome. We're just hanging on for a few minutes just to see whether anybody else joins us. If not, I'll just carry on. So it's a little bit warm in here this evening because I've had to turn my fan off. So it's a bit stuffy. Hi, Jackie. Welcome. We're just hanging on for a few minutes, Jackie, just to see whether anybody else joins us this evening. Thanks so much for joining this group. Hopefully it will be informative to you all and that you'll get something out of it at the end of the 21 days. I've had fun putting it together, I can tell you that. So lots of video making and lots of mistakes, but redoing things. So I just want to thank you all anyway for signing up for this challenge. And for some of you, this could be a really, really hard thing to do. So I really appreciate you for all being here. So over the next few weeks, I'm going to be sharing with you ways that you can help yourself to cope better with any anxieties, any stresses that you may be experiencing in your everyday life. I'm going to be going through exercises that you can start to implement into your daily life. So why the 21 days? Well, because it's believed that to change and to make something become a habit, we need to practice it for 21 days. So tonight, I'm going to explain a little bit about stress and have a look at the form that I posted up for you to print out. Don't worry if you've not printed it out yet. There's still time to do that, and you can go back over this this program to see what we're doing. Hi, Donna. Hi, Samara. So feel free to contribute by posting your comments on the side, and I'll do my very best to keep up with you all. I will admit it's a bit different doing a live session than when I'm recording, because when I'm recording, I'm mirroring myself doing things live. It's opposite, so I might get confused when I'm showing you diagrams, so just bear with me. Hi, Ruth. So what's stress? Stress is a really funny one because we all need a certain amount of stress in our lives to live. We put stress on our bodies so that we're able to walk, run, jump, and we put stress on ourselves to help us to get from where we are to where we want to be. But this is known as constructive stress. That's all right, it's all right, Ruth, we've only really just started. This is known as constructive stress. But then we have another stress, which is destructive. And this is where the stress that we feel starts to overtake us and it starts to control us rather than us controlling the stress. This then leads to stress overload, which then creates our anxieties that we feel. We then get stressed out about the anxiety, and so it goes on an emotional cycle. And I have a diagram here with me. So it's called the emotional stress cycle, or also known as the fear or distress cycle. And they say that there's 5 steps in developing any anxiety related disorder. So the first step is our life experiences. So any unpleasant life experience that will generate a negative emotion, such as fear, guilt, sadness, hurt, or anger, And these life experiences can come from a minority of things such as accidents, divorce, death, any form of abuse, any form of trauma, illnesses, physical illnesses that you might be having, or even a loss of a job. So if we recognise our life experiences that has caused us distress, that's where we can start. So, but if we don't, over a period of time, we then begin a pattern of our thoughts. So these are worrying, habitual, negative thinking thoughts, such as I'm not good enough, I'm unworthy, I'm a bad parent, it's all my fault, I'm unlovable, those kinds of negative thinking that we think about ourselves. So have a think for a minute and just write in the comments beside us, what are your negative thinking thoughts? What kind of thoughts do you think about yourself? Anybody? One of my past negative thinking thoughts was I was unlovable. And that was through an abusive relationship that I was in. I was made to feel useless, worthless. And that's how my pattern of thought became. I wasn't good enough to do anything. I was unworthy. And I was unlovable. And that's the way that my thoughts came about. And over a period of time, those negative thinkings and those negative thoughts will then lead to your feelings, which will be also negative. Oh, let's have a look. So Heidi, I have a childhood trauma and I constantly have voices in my head and I really struggle. That's really understandable. And you got bullied at school. Same for me. I'm unworthy, I can't do this, Ruth. Yeah, and I think that's really sort of a common one, is that we all feel at some point we feel unworthy of living. We feel unworthy of having happy relationships. We feel unworthy of living a happy life. So going on to the feelings, they can create feelings of depression. We feel scared. We feel scared to move into the future because we don't know what the future is going to be like. We fear that our patterns will be repeated and it will happen to us again. We can get panicky. We feel nervous, and we can also feel anxious. So going on what you've commented on now, what feelings do you have? What negative feelings do you have? Fear of failure, yes. Feel stuck and I don't want to be good enough, yeah. Frightened about going into strange places when I panic and I feel unbalanced. And that's quite common, Jackie. We do feel fearful of going into places and meeting new people because of the way that our thought processes are, our negative thought processes. Not being a good mum, as when I feel wobbly, I can't leave the house easily. And that's quite debilitating to not just yourself, Donna, but that's also impacting and impeding on your family life and spending time with your loved ones. So when we feel these things, over a period of time, then it will become a physical symptom. Can you see that one? I'll move that to this side. Ooh, as I said, I'm working opposites, as I said before, and I'm getting a bit confused where my fingers are supposed to be pointing. So we get the physical symptoms. So these can manifest as heart palpitations, nausea, sweating, panic attacks, shortness of breath, fainting, and even IBS. So when we have our physical symptoms, quite often they manifest within like sort of our seat of emotion, which is our solar plexus, which then can lead to troubles within our stomach area, like the IBS, the nausea. which not only then it leads on disruptions in our digestive system, so that our energy in our digestive system aren't flowing as it should do. So that can create other problems, such as indigestion, wind, nervous tummy. They're all physical symptoms of our negative thoughts and our negative feelings. But when we have the physical symptoms, it then can become an avoidance mechanism. Just like Donna said, she feels she doesn't like to leave the house, or she finds it hard to leave the house. So this is an avoidance trait that we have, because we're avoiding the situation that makes us stressed. So we can have social withdrawal. We can become more aggressive in our manner. It can cause repression. So we're suppressing down all our emotions and our feelings. We can even regress. We can regress back to adolescent behavior. So we can sort of have almost like teenage temper tantrums, where I don't want to do things. It can also then develop into alcohol, where we use alcohol as a way out, use alcohol to numb the pain that we're feeling, to numb our feelings. We can also use recreational drugs for the same purpose. Or it can lead to eating disorders such as bulimia or anorexia, because it's one way that we are feeling in control of our life. If we're not in control of our life, the one thing that we can be in control of is the way that we eat. And the last one, we can go into denial. So as I said before, we can deny ourselves the life that we're wanting. We deny that we're feeling crap. We deny that we're feeling negative. On the outside, it's like painting that picture. We're living behind that mask. So we're smiling, we're okay to everybody on the outside world, but where on the inside, we're actually crumbling. And when we deny, or we have these avoidance mechanisms, they then create more anxieties, which lead to more negative thinking about ourselves, leads to more negative feelings, more negative symptoms. And then it's so the cycle continues. It goes from one to the other. And if we're not dealt with, we just continue building up and up and up until we have a stress overload. And when we have these stress overloads, that's when we're creating more avoidances. So it's like we have two brains, we have the conscious brain and we have the subconscious brain. And when we're feeling stressed and emotional, our subconscious brain builds up and ups. And it's just like pouring a jug of water into a mug. The mug will only hold so much water before it starts to overflow. And this is what happens to ourselves. We hold in so much negative emotion. At one point, it's going to start overflowing into our conscious mind, which is our thinking brain. And our thinking brain doesn't really want to deal with that. So it will create another diversion. So it will create another river. And that river will be another anxiety, another way of avoiding our issues that are going on and around us. So let's have a quick look back at some of your comments that I've missed. Heidi says, I have neck pain from an injury when I get stressed. Donna gets angry with other people. It's just myself with frustration. That's fine. And I bottle up my feelings as I find it hard to communicate my feelings as I'm on the autistic spectrum. I fully really understand that, Heidi, where you know what you're wanting to say, but you find it hard to put it into words. I have a son also who's on the autistic spectrum, so I do understand. And he gets really frustrated because he can't find the words to come out of the way he's feeling. So he will let me know. Now he's just like sort of come up to that stage where he recognizes when he's having negative thoughts, and he'll just come up to me and he will say that I'm having those thoughts again, Mum. So it opens up a way that we can start communicating, and I know when he's feeling stressed. So one way is a lot of us don't always recognize what has triggered our stress or what has triggered our anxieties. There could be a multitude of things, and some things might not manifest until later on in life. So if there's been traumas in your earlier life, they might not manifest until you're an adult. And that can be confusing because really sort of you don't really know what the root cause of it is. Something would have triggered your anxieties and your stress is off, and you can be dealing with those to a certain degree. But actually, once you've dealt with that, if you haven't actually dealt with the root cause, and this is one thing that I say, we like sort of when we go to the doctors and they give you a pill to help you with your depression, they give you an anxiety tablet. They're helping you to cope a little bit better with your stresses and your anxieties. But they're not actually doing is actually getting to the root cause of why you're feeling anxious or stressed, or what brought about it in the first place. So if we go and look on if you have managed to print off your file, it's all about really sort of recognizing and numbering how stressed, and recognizing where your stresses are. Sometimes when it's written down on paper and it's in front of us, we can actually get to grips with it a little bit more rather than thinking, because there are a lot of things in our everyday life, whether it's family, whether it's work, they will all contribute to your stress that you're feeling now. And if we can recognize where the majority of your stress lies, then we can just try and work on that one thing at a time. It's more difficult when we're trying to work on 2 or 3 stresses at the same time, because then we get overstressed again because we set ourselves up to fail. So my thing would be is to note down where your stresses in your life are, and then just focus on one thing at a time. So if we look along the top, we have, is that better? Slight discomfort, moderate discomfort, and extreme discomfort. So they go from 1 to 10. All I want you to do at the beginning for now is just to fill in this first column. Okay, so over here, we have anxieties in your personal relationships. So this could be with your partner, your parents, your children, or anything other that you feel are in your personal relationships. And give it a number, whether it's 1 or whether it's 6 or whether it's 9 or 10. Just put a number beside that. And maybe if you have got space, just put how it makes you feel, what that anxiety within that personal relationship, how it makes you feel. So we've got a feeling to go with that number. Okay, so if we move down, then we have anxiety in specific situations. So this could be work, any deadlines that you may be having, any tests that you may be taking, or interviews, or anything other that you can think of. Again, write it down, place a number beside it, and how that situation makes you feel. Okay. So when we move on, if I fold this up, and then I'm not really getting to grips with this working opposite at the moment. Here we go. So at the bottom of the page, we will have our worry, depression, anxiety, anger, irritability, resentment, phobias, fears, muscle tension, high blood pressure and headaches, your neck pain and backaches, indigestion, sleep problems, and I think that at the bottom says work stress. Again, number them. So number how worried you are. You might be feeling 10 with your worry. You might be feeling 5 with your depression. Just give them a number. And what will happen over the next few weeks is I'm going to be showing you things like breathing techniques, relaxation, meditations. We'll be going through a whole load of different things to help you relieve your anxieties, just so that you're able to cope with them a little bit better. And by the end of the 21 days, keep this paper in a safe place, because we'll be coming back to it and we will see whether we've managed to lower some of these numbers. So for tonight, are there any questions that you would like to ask me about tonight, if there's nothing that I've made clear enough? And I will thank you for all your openness and coming out with how you're feeling and how your relationships are affecting you at this time. Is there any questions that you'd like to ask me before we go? Hopefully the next time, if we're live and I'm having a diagram, I'll get to grips with this other way. A little bit different from when I'm recording, where I'm mirroring myself. So okay, right, so there's no questions. Thank you all so much for joining me tonight, and we'll see you again tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Look out for any posts during the day. Tomorrow will be a recorded session, and it will be all about breathing. So I will be going through with you the mechanics of how we breathe and the way that it affects you if we're not breathing in the correct way. And I will be taking you through some exercises that you can start to implement each day, morning and evening, into your daily routine. So look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Again, Ruth, hopefully that there will be something posted each week, whether it will be a live session or a recording. Obviously, like sort of tomorrow will be a re-recording, because I'm going out to my own, I've got a meditation class for myself tomorrow evening, so it will be a recorded session. But you can pop into the group each day, and you can go back over any of the sessions that you may have missed, so you can catch up. Is that okay? Okay, so I'm going to say good night now to you all, and really thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you again tomorrow. Bye for now.